Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show. And I'm fixing to adjust your camera live, so I'm going to go to the two-shot here
Look
for
at you
a
on
second.
ball cap.
I'm going to a game tonight. I'm not doing my hair.
You're not doing your hair?
No.
No, okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the pre-show before the free show. I'm your congenial host, Greg Tupper, joined by my friend and colleague, Ashley Pickle. Hello. Camera looks better now. Pickle, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about food, because that's a big topic here on the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure how much of Fox Business you watch.
I don't.
Okay. So this is not a conversation about politics. Just chill. Okay. So there was a Fox Business contributor on Wednesday, right? Went on the air, and he was lamenting lamenting inflation. Not having a conversation about politics, folks. That's what he was doing. He was just lamenting inflation. Okay, saying, "Oh man, inflation, it's bad. It's bad." Anyway, he said, "Let me tell you how bad it is. I had Taco Bell for lunch yesterday, and I had paid $28
Jesus Christ.
for Taco Bell at lunch."
Okay, Taco Bell is food by the pound. How many stinking pounds did you order?
So here's the question, Pickle. So, okay, look. There's two explanations for this gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Two reasonable explanations. Three, actually, I should say. One, he can actually just eat that much, and he's a freak, right? Two, he's lying or exaggerating. Or three, he paid some, exorbitant delivery fees.
Yes.
Right?
That would make sense. If you're going to DoorDash it, then I can see that.
I tend to lean towards the third,
Yeah.
right? I believe he probably paid $15 for a big Taco Bell lunch and then had to pay DoorDash, Grubhub, whoever on top of it with a tip on top of it. Maybe it was like a surge pricing type thing and he paid a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a delivery fee and then tipping and stuff like that. Okay?
Yeah.
That, I think, is the most reasonable explanation. But the question is, Pickle, can you eat $28 worth of fast food in one sitting? Now, no delivery fees, okay? Has to be a drive-through. Fast food with drive-through, okay? So, it can't be you could DoorDash Chili's, right? And get an expensive thing.
I would think that the only thing that would possibly even get up into that realm might be a thing hear me out, maybe a Panda Express almost, because you got to think about it. I mean, that has always been a fast food option.
It has a drive-through.
It has a drive-through that has always been more on the expensive side. So in that, if you want to say that you got a whole full whatever, they have the multiple different box things that you can get. If you got that, maybe an egg roll, some crab ragoons or the cream cheese ragoons or whatever, and a drink with tax, that might equal out to around there. I
don't
mean,
know.
maybe.
$28 is a lot.
It is. That's the only thing I can even wrap my mind around, something like a fast food option costing that much.
Because okay.
I was trying to think of possible restaurants, and that's the only thing. Or you get a wonton soup or something with it. That starts to add up.
I'm going to throw one out there.
And in that option, I could eat that.
I'm going to throw one out there, and I don't even necessarily consider them. I don't know. What about Panera?
Panera is fast food. It's very healthy, good for you fast food.
You could do salad, soup, sandwich, maybe a cookie
and a drink. And you would be pushing it.
And maybe you get to, but I don't know if you can eat all that.
Yeah, it would be hard, but that too is a much healthier thing. $28 worth of Taco Bell, you should go to the hospital.
That's disgusting.
How did you not blow up your intestine?
I think the most I've ever rung up for myself only at Taco Bell, and I'm not a huge Taco Bell guy, but I can learn. Taco Bell, give us a call.
Yeah.
$11, $12.
And that's usually, let's be very honest here, most of the time if you're ordering that much Taco Bell, you are inebriated,
Like,
which is great because that's a market. You know?
All right. I'm gonna push back on that.
Okay.
Because do you know when I consume the most amount of my fast food? Basically, my entire fast food consumption.
I do know your answer, but it's after on Fridays.
On Friday nights on the way home
when it's one of the only things that's open. That's
I'll
fair.
go. It's usually Taco Bell, Whataburger, or McDonald's.
But
Jack
are
in the Box
you
is
more
around there, too.
likely to spend the most money that you've spent at Taco Bell on a Friday night after working, or after a night out at the bars?
Oh, your point is well taken. Your point is well taken. But for me personally, my personal experience, my journey through life has led through to me being at the drive-thru in Taco Bell at 1:45 in the morning after I get done with Scoreboard.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense.
And I'm only mostly drunk during Scoreboard.
Exactly.
Like not totally
not
gone.
fully. I mean, we're not talking
gone.
like
we're not
crazy.
I'm not a monster.
Yeah, we're slurring a little bit, but it's not.
I'm trying to get
not
you
belligerent.
these highlights and stuff like that. So
you need Taco Bell to fill your stomach. You don't need Taco Bell to revive your life at that point. Yeah.
But normally what I'll do is I'll tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
At that moment of the evening, if Chicken Express were open,
oh my God,
we'd push now. And Chicken Express is not expensive, but I might find a way.
We would probably take a whole entire staff trip to Chicken Express after Scoreboard at that point.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
There's got to be delivery.
It's got to be delivery, or he's got to be just fudging it or something like that. But because
we've always said Taco Bell is food by the pound.
Yeah, it is.
And if you're eating 28 pounds of Taco Bell, at that point you have to go to the ER that night, right?
You have some sort of digestive issues.
Yeah,
like you have to. Anyway, could you eat? Let us know in the comments. Could you eat $28 of fast food? We'll get to these in final thoughts. No, we won't because it's on tape. Could you eat $28 in fast food?
There's Taco Bell Power Bowls and veggie burritos. This is news to me.
It's like slapping God in the face.
Like just eat your beans.
Hit the theme expo. Pickle. Hit the arrow sign. Yes, yo! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all of the places, or listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local, mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dork. She's Miss 305. She's Ashley Pickle.
Is that going to stick?
It is going to stick.
All right.
Make it stick.
Dolly. Welcome in, friends.
Stuff like that. Today is Thursday, October 13th, 2022. 42 days till Thanksgiving. Do you know how many weeks that is? 6.
Math. The math. Don't be mathing this morning.
6 weeks. You have 6 weeks until Thanksgiving. 6 weeks till right now. 6 weeks from right now.
Literally,
there will be a football game on.
Mm-hmm.
The turkey you should be in process.
Gobbles.
You should be in process of making you're late. If 6 weeks from right now,
you're Thanksgiving dinner person, not lunch person.
It's early dinner. It's like 3 o'clock.
Okay, that's 10. I would say we tend to go more 2 because usually somebody in our family was trying to get to some sort of football game, like college football game, like when Texas A&M always played.
My whole thing is because the Cowboys always kick off at like 3, right? They always have the afternoon slot.
So we like to try and be done eating by that time, so then we can
we are normally
enjoy.
I got my brother likes the Cowboys and stuff, but we usually my kind of schedule is that I like to nap during halftime. Basically, I want to fall asleep at halftime. I want to wake up and it'd be like the fourth quarter.
Okay, that seems right.
It's kind of like that's my timing. You know what I mean? So anyway, happy birthday to Sacha Baron Cohen, as well as happy 60th birthday to Jerry Rice. Episode 1477. On today's show, my friends, big show. Got the top 10 Texas high school football games of the week to get you prepared, get your mind right around what's going to happen starting tonight, including some big games on Texan Live, including a big game on Texan Live tonight. We'll get into that. Then we're going to be joined by the head coach of the Hitchcock Bulldogs, the 7-0 Hitchcock Bulldogs. I think, like every year, we should be able to pick 3 favorite teams. Mm-hmm. I think they'd be on your list.
Oh, yeah. They are.
Hitchcock's one of your 3 favorite.
They're my little Cinderella.
One of your darling teams. Mm-hmm. Hitchcock Bulldogs. We'll be joined by Coach Craig Smith coming up here. Then back half of the show, we got the picks, my high school football predictions for week 8 of the Texas high school football season. We'll round it all out with Craven Bets, your weekly financial advice segment from our college football insider, Mike Craven. The lawyers want me to tell you it's not actually financial advice. Do we have first 4 through the door?
We sure do. It was Nick Morton, Rob Hadaway, Robert Legao, and just Chad. Welcome in, fellas.
Howdy, friends. Welcome in. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. And yeah, so we will get into...
Let's party.
Let's party. All right, Pickle. Week 8 of the Texas high school football season starts in like 5 hours. Mm-hmm. We got games everywhere you look. And it's big games, right? You know, you're talking about week 8. This is the final third of the regular season.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like, there are some teams that after tonight, they will only have 2 games left of the year. Mm-hmm. There are some teams. That's kind of crazy.
That is wild.
But, lot to get to.
Probably none of the teams on this list.
672, I think, 74, around there. Texas high school football games across the state. We chose 10. These are our opinion, the 10 biggest games of the Texas high school football week 8. Let's go to the graphic, and we'll start in the middle. 7 o'clock tomorrow night in Austin. It's a huge week in Austin. Mm-hmm. It's a massive week in Austin. 7 o'clock Friday night, it is the unbeaten state-ranked Round Rock Dragons taking on the number 17-ranked Austin Vandergrift Vipers in a critical showdown here in the Austin area. So Vandergrift has that one loss to start the year. We'll talk about that team in a moment. They have that one loss to start the year, but since then, they've really gotten the wheels back on, especially offensively. Braden Buchanan, their quarterback, has been great, and per usual, their defense has been great. You go back a couple of weeks ago when they beat Manor, and that was an unbeaten Manor team, I believe, at the time, and they shut them down. Absolutely. Defensively, they have been fantastic. Since giving up 23 points to Dripping Springs in the opener, they've given up 19 in their next 5 games. Defense has been great, but this is going to be a big test for them going up against this Round Rock squad that is really feeling it. This is a team that can beat you in a variety of different ways. Their defense has also been spectacular, and they are able to run the ball. They've got a dual-threat quarterback in Mason Cochran, who's been very good. I think that their running back, Ruben Ribeiro, I'm of the belief that the more they feed him, the more good things happen. And really, their defense has been leading the way. This is a huge matchup there in District 25 6A. I think it's for the district title. And so the winner of this game is going to be in the driver's seat for the district title, which may have some major implications because, depending on how another game goes this week, Cedar Park, Vista Ridge, and Round Rock Stony Point, these could both be D1 teams. So the winner of this game would at least avoid Westlake in the first round of the playoffs. So a lot on the line here, Vandergrift and Round Rock tonight or tomorrow night in Austin. 7:30 p.m. Friday night in Dripping Springs. It is another top 20 matchup in 6A as the number 2 ranked Austin Westlake Chaparrals take on the number 16 ranked unbeaten Dripping Springs Tigers. We thought Dripping Springs would be good moving up from 5A, but maybe not this good. And but okay. So Dripping Springs is an interesting case. They have the signature win. Okay, yes. They have the signature win where they go to Vandergrift and win 23-20 in the opener. Fantastic. I could make an argument that they've been coasting on that since then because they haven't really played anyone since then. That win over Bowie's good, but I also think they're just better than Bowie. I think Bowie's the 4th best team in that district. Depending on what you think of Buda Johnson, your mileage may vary there. Has Bowie beaten Johnson? No, they play them this week. It's another big game. But Dripping Springs has they don't have to apologize for who they've played because they've been dominant. They've been fantastic. And Pickle, my question to you. When is the last time that Westlake did not have the best quarterback in the game?
Yeah, that's been a hot minute. Like, I mean, Battle of the Lakes, you can, every year, it's kind of like, okay, maybe a little bit of a toss-up, but not in recent years.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's just 2 quarterback factories going out in between that game.
Yeah, but at that point, it's at least very close.
Yes, exactly. It's willing to be debated. This is not willing to be debated.
And I like what Westlake's done at the quarterback spot, but but Austin Novosad has been a stud. He's been fantastic, but furthermore, their defense has been great. They gave up 20 in the opener to Vandergrift, and in their last 5 games, they've also given up 20 combined. Their defense has been on point. Going up against Westlake, riding the state's longest winning streak at 46 games in a row. They have been outstanding. They are, again, this is a much less star-studded Westlake team. I like what they've got. Jaden Greathouse is obviously great. Jack Kaiser, their running back, is great. But like they are, to me, a team that wins in the places you overlook. Defensive line, Colton Vosek. Offensive line, TJ Shanahan. That's where they win. They win in the nitty gritty.
Well, and this is fun because we were with quite a few of our media brethren last night, and like just I think the consensus around this game is there hasn't been a game that Westlake has played in other than the Battle of the Lakes that has been like really hyped up in a long time. But especially, I mean, this one, it seems like everyone's more excited for this game than they have been for the Battle of the Lakes the past couple of years. I mean, since Klubnik was there.
And for Dripping Springs, they've got an opportunity to really earn their stripes as a 6A program. I think they're underdogs in this game, but maybe smaller underdogs than you think. Huge game in Dripping Springs tomorrow night. 7 o'clock Friday night in Burleson. Live on TexanLive.com.
This is huge.
It's number 5 Alito visiting number 6 Burleson Centennial, and the Alito Bearcats put their 108 district winning streak on the line in this one. Centennial is coming off of snapping Denton Ryan's 52-game district winning streak last week, and we know exactly what they're about. They're about running game out of that pistol, out of that option offense with Elijah Zay, and they are about defense. Defense has been fantastic. They have got an opportunity to grab the biggest scalp out there. I mean, this is the longest district winning streak in Texas high school football history, and they've got an opportunity to go and snap it at home. Alito has rallied since starting 0-2, and I think the offense has really found its groove. House Haney, their quarterback, has grown up, and I think Hawk Patrick Daniels, their running back, has stepped up in a way. But this is also more of a I would also say this is not as star-studded. This is an Alito team that wins in all the Alito ways, like offensive line and defensive line. Defense, I thought, has been very good this year. This is a game that's determined by pace, right? Can Centennial control the pace against Ryan? If they do that in this one, they're going to snap a winning streak. But Alito's also really good against one-dimensional teams. This game's going to be fantastic in Burleson on Texan Live. Be there. 7:30 p.m. Friday night. In Columbus, the number 2 ranked Columbus Cardinals get a matchup with another unbeaten against the Hitchcock Bulldogs. We're going to be joined by Craig Smith, the head coach of Hitchcock, here in a moment. If you like young quarterbacks, you're going to love this game. Hitchcock's got Lloyd Jones III. Columbus has got Adam Schobel. This game is fascinating for a number of reasons. We're going to get in with Coach Craig Smith here in a moment. But this game is really, really good down there in Columbus, 7:30 p.m. on Friday night.
Yeah, I'm pumped about this one. I think, too, when you look at Region 3, this one has a chance to show who else is in that contention, because we talk a lot about Lorena, we talk a lot about Franklin. This is going to separate who could contend with those two programs.
100%. I think you're spot on. 7:30 p.m. Friday night in Lancaster. It is another game of great import in District 7 5A Division 1 as the Forney Jackrabbits visit the Lancaster Tigers. Boy, what a 1-2 punch for Forney. Last week they're at Longview. This week they're at Lancaster. According to the computer,
light scheduling, huh?
According to the computer, they go from the number 1 team in the state in 5A Division 1 to the number 2 team in the state in 5A Division 1. Forney is a team that last week kind of, they kind of got beat down. The defense kind of fell apart a little bit on them, but Longview will do that to you. Can that offense get going once again? Going up against Lancaster, who's got 2 losses on the year. One of them was to Denton Geyer, and the other one was to Longview. Those are 2 pretty darn good squads. This is a game that I think if Forney, if a lot of this is about Lancaster's defense. Lancaster's defense has been really good with the exception of that loss to Geyer. If they are able to play that kind of defense, then I think they've got an opportunity to really take control at least of second place in that district, because they already got that loss to Longview. So huge game there, 7:30 p.m. in Lancaster. 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night in Belmead. As I said on Texas on Tep and Step, the spiritual home of Dave Campbell's Texas football is Belmead.
Yes.
As the Waco La Vega Pirates welcome in the number 2 ranked China Spring Cougars in a really interesting district opener for these two teams. So when realignment came out, you remember we all kind of marveled at District 5 4A Division 1. Because you had China Spring and Stephenville, China Spring and Stephenville. Well, don't forget about La Vega. Now they've got a tough record at 4-3, but those 3 losses are to a full-strength Waco Connolly by 1, to Midlothian Heritage on the road, and then to Lorena at Lorena by 1 score. So this is a team that is battle-tested. They are much better, in my opinion, than their record indicates. They have gotten going. Running back Bryson Rowland, I think the defense is rounded into form. This team is dangerous going up against China Spring. Now, China Spring's got that loss in the year to Dallas Parish Episcopal. That's the number 1 private school team in the state. I always compare that to like a good 5A team. Mm-hmm. And so for China Spring, I don't think there's any shame in that. The offense, we had big questions coming into the year about the offense, especially replacing Major Bowden. They have answered those with Cash McCollum. Offense has been great. I don't know that the defense is as good as it was last year, but that's also kind of an unfair bar. This is a game that if La Vega can get that running game churning and shorten the game a little bit, I think they got an opportunity to steal one here. The other question is, there's 2 other things in this. One, La Vega's had China Spring's number. La Vega's won 3 straight against China Spring. And, so stylistically, they just match up pretty well. They give them trouble. And 2, this is, so next week, China Spring takes on Stephenville. Is there a look-ahead factor? Keep an eye on that one. Big game there between China Spring and La Vega. 7:30 p.m. Friday night in Corpus Christi. The number 3 ranked Corpus Christi Calallen Wildcats welcome in Alice. Fascinating game in this one. You've probably heard a lot about Calallen this year. New coach Steve Campbell is undefeated with the Wildcats. They have been great. Even after losing running back Epi Hinojosa, they've really stepped up in a big way. One thing I think is interesting about Calallen this year, believe it or not, they're throwing the ball a bit. They have a 1,000-yard passer. Bryce Burnett has thrown the ball for 1,000 yards.
Steve Campbell said that he was going to make sure that they understood that it wasn't a sin to throw the football.
They opened it up, the offense, a little bit. They're still running the ball with Blaine Lamb, and then, of course, they asked their quarterback Burnett to throw the ball or run the ball, but they're throwing the ball a little bit. I will tell you a team that definitely knows how to throw the ball, and that's Alice. Alice, of course, has Cutter Stewart, probably the best quarterback you are not talking about in the state right now. He has been outstanding to start the year. 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns through 6 games. He has been spectacular. They need a big game from him. Can they find a way through that defense that has been very good for Calallen? A big game in the Coastal Bend tomorrow night in Corpus. 7 o'clock Friday night in Stratford. Go up to the Panhandle, where the number 6 team in the state, the Stratford Elks, welcome in the Panhandle Panthers in a really interesting district matchup that I think has major implications down the road. District 1 2A Division 1. I think that the district title is on the line here. I don't think that's really going out on a limb, with all due respect to also unbeaten in district Sanford Fritch, but that was their 1 loss of the year. These are the 2 best teams in the district by a pretty considerable margin, in my opinion. This Panhandle team does have the 1 loss on the year, but it was at Wellington. It's a pretty good Wellington team. This is, to me, going to be about whether or not this Stratford team can find a way through what's been a very good Wellington or Panhandle defense. This is a Stratford team that, of course, is the defending state champs. They have been rolling ever since, I think, very quietly, putting things together. But they've found some answers. They've got a sophomore quarterback in Bryce Braden who stepped up, and they're running the ball really well. They've got a 3-headed monster running the ball, and Zane Bird, the aforementioned Braden, and then Mauricio Duran. This is a fascinating matchup here. Can Stratford kind of get that offense humming in a way that pushes this Panhandle defense, which has been so good all year? Fascinating matchup there in Stratford in these 2A ranks. From 2A to 6A, 7 o'clock Friday night in Duncanville. It is the number 3 team in 6A, the Duncanville Panthers, welcoming in also unbeaten. Do you know about this?
You hear about this, Kev?
Mansfield is undefeated.
Yeah,
and what a story Mansfield has been to start the year. 6-0, off to a fantastic start. This is a team that we did not have super high hopes for, and yet they have proven to be a real threat and a real a program that I think is really on the rise. A big reason why, in my opinion, is their defense has been pretty darn good. Their defense has been pretty consistent. They gave up 34 to Lake Ridge, but that's basically the only time they've been touched up. I think what Coach Greg George has been doing has been very, very strong, especially because they've got a couple of playmakers that they really like. James Johnson running the ball. Sergio Kennedy is doing enough throwing the ball as well, and the defense makes it stand up. This is a different animal, though. You're dealing with Duncanville. Duncanville has looked every bit the part of a true state championship contender. Are they able to? For Mansfield, the question is always going to be for basically any team that plays against Duncanville is how do you match up front? That's the whole long and short of it. Also going on the road, this is a litmus test for Mansfield. This is where do they stand in that district. I don't even need them to win this game.
No.
I mean, they've already got a win over Cedar Hill, but they've got the three. Like, to me, they're going to be in the playoffs. Unless they choke it away, in my opinion, against Skyline.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a real litmus test of where they stand, and a huge game depending on where they go next, because next week they take on Waxahachie, and that could be straight up for third place in that district.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, depending on... Yeah, no, it looks like Waxahachie will go D1. So, it depends on a few different things. But a huge game as far as seeding is concerned there tomorrow night in Duncanville.
I've really enjoyed this. We've always enjoyed this district, but mainly it was because, you look at Duncanville, DeSoto, Cedar Hill, and you think, oh, yeah, that's a great district. But I've enjoyed this district this year because it's the second-tier teams, I guess you could kindly consider them, that have really been fun to watch. Like, it's not and Cedar Hill obviously dropped way off, but it's not just Duncanville, DeSoto, Duncanville, DeSoto. It's like, there's other good contested games. That's
the thing, is like with the kind of demise of Cedar Hill, it's opened up a spot, and there's kind of been like everyone kind of crammed through the door.
Right.
And I think that
with actual good teams, it wasn't like fluke teams, like one person kind of said, Cedar Hill's gone, we're going to step up. It's like everyone's been good.
Exactly. And finally, 7 o'clock tonight in Alvin, live on TexanLive.com.
Let's go.
It's the Richmond Foster Falcons, the number 10 team in the state in 5A Division 1, traveling to take on district rival Manville in a matchup that always seems to deliver. These two teams always tend to put on a show, and it's become a bit of a fun rivalry between these two. At least for me, I don't know if it's fun for those guys. It's fun for me. Now Foster has won. Each of the last two they won in 2021 and 2020, and Manville would like a piece. Now Manville lost the opener, and then they lost a close one to Angleton. So this is a critical matchup for them as far as district placement is concerned. If they're able to welcome in Foster and beat them, that would be huge for them, and essentially I would say lock up a playoff spot, because right now there's 5 teams, maybe 6 if you count Friendswood, that are vying for 4 playoff spots. So this is huge for Manville. For Foster, it does feel like they've shaken off that loss to Magnolia West. They got right against Fort Bend Kempner, but really, what is this Foster team? Like, I think the Manville defense has improved considerably over the course of the year. I think they're playing their best football right now. They're also coming off an open date. Does that make a difference for them taking on a Foster team that, in their one loss, the offense just kind of got stymied by a good Magnolia West defense? Fascinating matchup there. Huge implications in District 10 5A Division 1. A Manville win would really throw things into chaos in that district.
Yes, it would.
So a lot to sort out here.
So if you like chaos, you know who you're rooting for.
This is a chaos game in 10-5A Division 1 tonight on Texan Live. Richmond, Foster, and Manville. There they are.
Very tasty for a Thursday.
There they are, the top 10 Texas high school football games of the week. Of course, we've got tons of games you can watch all week on TexanLive.com. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Pickle, can we talk about the greatness of Takis? Oh, no, the greatness of Honda. Let's talk about the greatness of Honda.
We'll talk about the greatness of Takis in a little bit.
Please. Dave Campbell's Texas Football has partnered with the North Texas Honda dealers to honor community helpers from across North Texas. Texas is fortunate to have so many great individuals that give back to their community in so many different ways. Thanks to the support of the North Texas Honda dealers, we have an opportunity to shine a light on a few very deserving individuals, such as Randy Cutshall from Weatherford High School. Congratulations to Randy on being the recipient of the Community Helper Appreciation Award presented by North Texas Honda dealers. Thank you for being helpful in your community. For more information, visit TexasFootball.com. And now a word from our friends at VCR Now.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texans love doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
Pickle, let's go to the hotline, and let's welcome in the head coach of the 7-0 Hitchcock Bulldogs. We go down to Galveston County to chat with Coach Craig Smith. Coach Smith, how are you?
Doing fine. How y'all doing today?
Excellent. How are things in beautiful Hitchcock, Texas?
They're going well. A lot of people in town are excited about this Friday's game with Columbus, and just trying to prepare for it.
Well, you mentioned the big game against Columbus. I do want to ask you about that, but this is a team that has really played exceptionally well to start the year at 7-0. Did you this is it's not like you guys booked some walkovers in non-district play. I'm interested now that you're 7 weeks in and 7 wins in. Did you anticipate being off to this kind of start before the season?
Well, I guess there's probably a couple reasons we kind of scheduled the non-district schedule the way we did. One was, our district is sometimes it's like a murderer's row going against Columbus and Hallettsville and Yoakum. And even if you go back all the way back to 2011, everybody in our district has been to the state championship game, Hempstead included. Mm-hmm. And Columbus, they've been to the semifinals and quarterfinals. So, I mean, it's a tough district. We have to play some quality non-district opponents just to get ready. And then not to mention when you go in the first round of the playoffs and you're playing District 11.
Most certainly. I mean, it's very difficult to navigate through not only your non-district schedule, but also your district schedule. This is a program that's 7-0 for the first time since 1996. Have you sensed, like, within the program and within the room that kind of a build, and maybe even within the community, like a building excitement about this team that, hey, we might have a little something special here?
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the community that's excited for the season we're having, but we kind of believe in the 10,000 hour rule here, and the more you do something, the better you get, and we're always talking to our kids about competing. It doesn't matter what sport, it doesn't have to be football. And good thing about you brought up about the community, a lot of our kids, they played together since they were 5 years old, especially a lot of these sophomores and juniors that we have, which most of our team, we're 16 out of 22 starters are underclassmen. So these kids have played a long time together. We have a lot of people in the community that's invested in them, not, from, Little League football, our Red Raider program, to, our basketball and our track programs. We got a lot of people in the community that really have helped these kids along the way. So, we're excited, but a lot of these kids, like I said, they've had success since they were very young, and kind of translated this past summer when we were state champions in 7-on-7. Mm-hmm. And if you go back to March, we made it to the state basketball tournament, starting 2 freshmen and a sophomore, which are, kids that are on our football team right now. So Yeah, we're really excited, and it's kind of more of a community effort here.
We're talking with Craig Smith, the head coach of the Hitchcock Bulldogs here on Texas Football Today. Get involved with the conversation at #TF Today. All right, Coach, you mentioned the 7-on-7 tournament. We kind of talked around here about that. That was the first chance we really got a chance to get some eyes on your guys, especially for such a young group. Do you feel like that 7-on-7 state championship there in the Division II bracket, do you feel like that has had like a kind of a buoying effect that's kind of launched you guys into the season you guys are having?
Right, definitely. I guess, on some of your other shows, you've always talked about where, there's some coaches that, don't put a whole lot of stock into 7-on-7, and there's some that do. And we're in the camp that do. We believe in it. We've hosted a state qualifying tournament here for a number of years. We really enjoy it. Our kids enjoy it. Our fans enjoy it. They love going up to College Station for the state tournament. And yeah, we take it as a big thing. And I do feel 7-on-7 is important. And I think the proof's in the pudding. If you look around at a lot of NFL quarterbacks that are from the state of Texas.
Okay, so one of the guys who led you to that 7-on-7 state championship and now has you guys off at 7-0 is one of those sophomores, one of those underclassmen, in Lloyd Jones III. This kid is, I'll just tell you as just a neutral observer, this kid is fun to watch. He is a dynamo out there. You're the guy who sees him in practice and in the classroom and around school. What is it about your quarterback, Lloyd Jones, that makes him special?
Well, he's a great kid, works extremely hard. He don't look for a lot of attention. He's very low-keyed. He's very calm. Probably the most confident player on our team. Keeps quiet and just goes and does his job.
The other side of this that I think has been really impressive for you guys is that, in non-district play, you guys have had a couple of games that were really tight, that you guys had to contend late. I look at that game against Salado there where you played a neutral site in Bryan. I go back to East Bernard. I know that's an 0-16, but that is a much better than their record indicates 0-6 team. Do you feel like that to me, winning close games strikes me as the kind of thing you see from veteran ball clubs. Do you feel like these youngsters are growing up maybe quicker than people may have thought? Oh,
definitely. Like every little challenge, a lot of times, especially coaches, they'll understand that, when you have a change of routine, whether you play on a Thursday night, which most 3A schools, they're going to play straight Friday games because, there's usually never a scheduling conflict with stadiums with multi-school districts. But we played on a Thursday night against Lamarck, handled that well. We played Salado and Bryan. We had to meet them halfway because of just the distance, and we played them on a Saturday afternoon. And to win on a Saturday afternoon, the heat was pretty good, and they handled it. And those might look like little things to, the casual football fan, but for a coach, overcoming the normal routine, getting outside of the box is huge, and they've handled those things extremely well.
Well, there's nothing routine about what's coming down the pike tomorrow. You guys are traveling to Columbus to take on the number 2 ranked Columbus Cardinals, a matchup of unbeatens there in 3A Division I. And I know that you guys have been coming up with the game plan. When you take a look at what you guys are going to be up against tomorrow against Columbus, what are you guys going to need to do to get the win?
Well, we're going to have to move the ball well. On defense, we're going to have to stop their running game. Mm-hmm. I know their quarterback's thrown for a lot, but they got a big back. They got a really good offensive line. They like to control the ball. We're gonna have to stop their run game and force them to throw, and hopefully we can do pretty well in that.
And finally, Coach, you've been at Hitchcock as the head coach for 11 seasons now. You were on the staff before then. I'm interested in how you've seen this program change over the course of your tenure there. You've been down there in Galveston County for a minute, and I'm interested in how recognizable maybe this program is from the one that you arrived at those years ago.
Yeah, it's changed quite a bit. The coach that I coached with for a lot of years, he was my high school coach here, Gary Carney. I played for him here at Hitchcock, and so a lot of times, a lot of the coaches that we have here on our staff played for me here, and like I said, it's more of a family atmosphere. We got a lot of coaches that love and care about our program, and but yeah, it has grown because the community's invested in our program. I think we have a pretty nice stadium for a 3A, and I'd put our field house up against anybody around. It's a really beautiful facility. We just passed a bond issue getting our baseball field and softball fields turfed, and it's a growing community. We're experiencing some growth right now, as well as a lot of people in the northern Galveston County area, and it has grown a lot. And like I said, it goes back to a lot of our former players. They run our little league programs and they invest. So it's a big community investment. That's probably what I'm most proud of, that we got a lot of people that stick around and help us grow, help our kids grow and become better people. And that's probably what I'm most proud of.
It's going on tomorrow night. Matchup of unbeatens in Columbus as the Hitchcock Bulldogs travel to take on the Columbus Cardinals, and their head coach, Craig Smith, will be at the helm. Coach, we sure appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the fantastic start, and go get them tomorrow night.
Hey, thank you, and thank y'all for everything y'all do for Texas high school football.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach.
All right, bye-bye.
There he goes. Craig Smith, head coach, Hitchcock Bulldogs.
I mean, come on. If they weren't my darling team before this.
So here's the thing.
What about Coach Smith? He's amazing.
He's great. It's great. That was the first time I met him in person. There was at 7 on 7.
7-on-7, yeah.
And that's he's got, the thing is, like, if you want a look at what 3A Division 1 is going to look like for the next couple of years, because both Columbus and Hitchcock are very young. And so they're going to be in it. And if I didn't have to, so Hitchcock's down in Galveston County, like it's on the ocean, right?
Yeah, hi. So facilities tour. Mallory and I have a date in Hitchcock at the field house sometime this off season.
I was looking on this because I'm looking at the map, and I was gonna say, man, I wonder how long it takes to get to Hitchcock, and then you look and it's the Harbor Walk Community Yacht Club and Marina has an address in Hitchcock.
See you soon, Hitchcock.
This is. She's gonna get if they.
I mean, I got to go down there to handle Texan Live stuff, so I might as well just.
If they beat Columbus tomorrow night, you're gonna come back. She's gonna have the guns out again. She's gonna have an H tattoo over there.
No, and then what's inevitably gonna happen is if they were to meet up with Lano in the state semifinal, I would be so torn in so many ways.
It's gonna be tough.
I mean, I can't lose technically at that point, but go. Yeah, I've got a vetted interest in Hitchcock.
Craig Smith, head coach of the Hitchcock
Columbus.
Excited for them. There's a big game, and I know that community is really fired up for them. So it should be a fun game between Hitchcock and Columbus. I think we have a reporter going down there.
We sure do.
Shelby?
I can't remember, but I would assume so. Shelby is primarily our Southeast Texas gal, so I think so.
I want to say she's going to be there. Anyway. So
I'm jealous. Good for her.
We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Pickle Takis!
Yes.
Takis is the presenting sponsor.
That's it.
Of
yes.
the Sustainability Champions Award, spotlighting influential kids looking to pursue a career focused on the social, environmental, and economic well-being of our future. This week's Spotlight game, let's actually start with last week. We forgot to mention it last week, and that's on me. I apologize. I'm calling my own foul.
We love you, Takis.
But
we're getting
last
twice
week,
as much
week
Takis.
7, at Mesquite Horn and Mesquite, we honored Joshua Rainey from Mesquite Horn and Tyler Manoy from Mesquite High. We spotlight 2 sustainability champions there. And then this week, in week 8, we're going to Irving MacArthur and Irving High. We're going to be honoring Anjali Reitmeyer from MacArthur and Margie Ponce from Irving High as our Sustainability Champions Award. Thank you to Takis for your support of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Sustainability Champions Award. For more information, visit TexasFootball.com.
Man, I am upset that I didn't realize that game was happening this week, because I was with Mike. We were with Mike Roach last night. I would have loved to get his thoughts. He was an Irving grad, so this is a big week for Roach. He don't like MacArthur. He does not like MacArthur.
It's a big week. If they win, Mike Roach is going to be in my DMs.
He's going to send the tiger.
He's going to send the tiger. He's going to send the eye. Anyway, Pickle. It's week 8 of the Texas high school football season. Massive games across the state. And only one man records a video about it and asks Mallory Hartley to edit it. That's a factual statement.
You tell Mallory to edit it.
That's not true.
She really can't say no.
You're her boss.
This is true. But she can't say no because I ain't editing it.
That's a great point. Anyway, here's my high school ball predictions for week 8 of the Texas high school ball season here on Texas Football Today.
District titles and playoff spots are on the line in Week 8 of the Texas high school football season. These are the picks. Welcome into the Picks, your guide to the Texas high school football weekend. My name is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and this is the home stretch, guys. This is the final third of the regular season in the 2022 Texas high school football season, and there's still a lot to decide, right? A lot up in the air. There are a few teams we feel pretty confident are going to make the playoffs, right? But for a lot of these teams, there's still a lot on the line as far as figuring out if you're going to the playoffs, where you're going to be seated, exactly who you're going to play, what your path to AT&T Stadium is going to look like. Not to mention, you've got state-ranked clashes in every corner of the state. This is a loaded Week 8 slate everywhere that you look. We start today in Columbus. 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Memorial Stadium in Columbus. It is a state-ranked matchup of unbeatens in the 3A ranks as the Hitchcock Bulldogs visit the Columbus Cardinals. What are the keys to this matchup? Key number 1, super sophomore signal callers. Super sophomore signal callers. That's what we got in this game, because both of these teams have outstanding youngsters calling the shots for their offense. For Columbus, you're never going to believe it, but they've got a guy named Schobel at quarterback. I know, I'm shocked too. Of course, the son of head coach Matt Schobel, Adam Schobel, is the sophomore signal caller for this Columbus team, and he has been fantastic. Razor sharp, completing more than 70% of his passes, 10 touchdowns to no interceptions. He does everything this Columbus offense needs him to do. On the other side, for Hitchcock, if you have not heard of Lloyd Jones III, you are in for a treat. This is one of the most dynamic dual threat playmakers in the state at any level. I'll tell you, we saw him in person at State 7-on-7 in College Station this summer, and all of us at the Dave Campbell's Texas football crew could gather around that field and said, who is that? He is a dynamo, and he will be a lot of fun to watch. But this is a big stage for these two youngsters. Which of these sophomores steps up big? Key number 2, Columbus's size. So this is a Cardinals team that I think is going to be pretty clearly the bigger team out there, especially in the trenches. Guys like Hunter Mangum and Dagan Stevens, they've got some beef up front that quite simply Hitchcock doesn't, especially on the offensive line. Now, Hitchcock's defense flies to the football. They have got team speed on that defensive side in bunches, led by their linebacker Austin Case, but they're not going to be the bigger team. This is the classic size versus speed matchup here, especially when Columbus has the ball. So, when these two units collide, both of which have been very good this year, what wins out? Size or speed? And key number 3, fourth quarter experience. So, we're into now week 8 of the Texas high school football season. Both these teams are 7-0, haven't had their open date yet, and have been rolling. But they've kind of gotten here in different ways. Hitchcock has had a couple of big challenges in their path and have had to play close games against both East Bernard and Salado. They've been tested into the fourth quarter, and they've passed those tests resoundingly. Columbus hasn't. Now, part of it is you shouldn't have to apologize for blowing teams out, which is what they've done, but their closest game this year has been a 22-point win last week against Hallettsville. That's it. That's the closest a game has been. They have been mollywhopping everyone in their path. I don't think either one of these teams is going to run away from the other. So if this game is close in the fourth quarter, does Hitchcock's fourth quarter experience give them an edge? Who am I picking? I'm going with Columbus. The Cardinals get the nod here not only because they're at home and not only because of what they've got on the offensive side, but also, something we haven't mentioned yet, their defense is really good, allowing fewer than 9 points per game, led by, surprise, surprise, another Schobel, linebacker Tommy Schobel. This defense has been fantastic. Now, Hitchcock's a different kind of team than Columbus has faced this year because this team has got dudes. Playmakers on the outside, not just Lloyd Jones III, but playmakers everywhere you look on the outside and team speed. This is a fun team to watch, and they're going to be able to get up and down. I think actually a shootout benefits Hitchcock here. I think they have the more high-powered offense in this game. But I think that Columbus's defense is the difference. I think it's close, but I think the Cardinals move to 8-0. It's a huge week in Austin. Let's go 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Tiger Stadium in Dripping Springs. There's another battle of unbeatens as the Dripping Springs Tigers welcome in the Austin Westlake Chaparrals. Here's an opportunity for Dripping Springs to get that signature win as a 6A program. Already got that big win in non-district over Austin Vandegrift. Well, here comes the number one team in the state, riding the state's longest winning streak at 46 games, and Dripping Springs has a real chance to do it. For the first time in what feels like forever, Westlake will not have the best quarterback in this game. I know, it's kind of crazy to think about, but Austin Novosad for Dripping Springs has been absolutely fantastic. And by the way, if you just focus on him, you're really missing what makes this team good because this defense has been fantastic as well, led by Luca Picucci. Now, they're going up against this Westlake team that has looked like a wrecking machine. They haven't been perfect. They've started slow at times, but they have been very strong, and especially up front, they're so good. Colton Vosick on the defensive side and TJ Shanahan on the offensive line. They mash you up front, and then Jack Kaiser, the running back, and Jaden Greathouse, the wide receiver, do the rest. Look, this is a huge challenge for Westlake because this Dripping Springs team is for real, but I'm not picking against a 46-game winning streak. Give me the Shaps. Let's go to the DFW, 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Burleson Stadium. It is a big-time district showdown as the Aledo Bearcats visit the Burleson Centennial Spartans. Centennial, fresh off of ending Denton Ryan's 52-game district winning streak, now gets their shot at the king of district winning streaks. Aledo has the all-time Texas high school football record for consecutive district wins. They've won 108 in a row. They have not lost a district game since 2007, and maybe there's something in the water. Last week, we saw both Denton Ryan's long district winning streak and in the 1A ranks, Richland Springs losing their first district game since 2001. So maybe there's something going on here. Now, for Aledo, this is a team that I think has figured it out, especially offensively, since their 0-2 start. House Henry, their quarterback, their quarterback has been very good. Hawk Patrick Daniels has really stepped up in a big way at the running back spot. For this Centennial team, we know what they're going to do. They're going to grind it out on the ground with Elijah Zay out of that option offense, shorten the game, take the air out of the ball, and lean on that outstanding defense that really led them to the victory last week. Here's the thing for me, and the reason I'm picking Aledo. This Bearcats program tends to really shine best when they're facing a team that's pretty one-dimensional. Now, Centennial can throw a little bit, but that's not their ball game. They're a team that wants to grind it out on the ground. I think that this Aledo defense is going to be up to the challenge. I think they make just enough plays offensively to escape. Give me the Bearcats. And 7 o'clock Friday night at Ratliff Stadium in Odessa. It's one of the classic Texas high school football rivalries renewed as the Midland Legacy Rebels visit the Odessa Permian Panthers. And look, this is the 65th meeting between these two teams. They do not like each other. This is an arch rivalry. It's classic Texas high school football. Friday night lights, right? This Permian team, I think, has very quietly gone about their business. 6-0. Justice Lara, their running back, has been great. Quarterback Rodney Hall Jr. Coach Jeff Ellison has got this team humming, and there's something special out there in Mojo land. For Legacy, what are they doing early in games? Like the last 2 weeks, it has been unbelievable to see what this team has been doing. So, for example, last week against Friendship, they were down 42-7 at halftime before kind of roaring back and making it a game, but ultimately falling short. The week before that, they were down 41-0 to Judson in the first quarter. After that, they pulled it within, I think they lost 60-50, but like, they got to start faster. Once they get going, they've been really good. Marcus Davila, their quarterback, but they cannot start slow again, especially against this Permian team. So, I think this game is going to be, of course, interesting because of the rivalry aspect. Can Legacy start fast? That's the real question. But for now, especially at home, I lean towards Mojo. But those are far from the only big games in Week 8 of the Texas high school football season. Let's get to the lightning round. I like Breckenridge to stay perfect with a win over Vernon. Give me Corpus Christi Flower Bluff over Mercedes. And I like Albany over Cross Plains. I like center to get past Van. Eagle Pass stays perfect with a win over Laredo United. And Allen beats McKinney, but this is major upset watch. Biggest game in the Sun City this week, I like El Paso Franklin over El Paso Eastlake. Give me Hemphill to take down New Waverly. And in a battle of unbeatens in DFW, I like Argyle over surprising Frisco Emerson. I think Llano stays perfect with a win over Marion. Give me Lumberton to take down Viter. And I told you it was a big week in Austin. I like Vandergrift over Round Rock. I'm going with Lyford over San Diego. Price Carlisle stays perfect with a win over Cushing. And Belleville surges past Sealy. The dream season continues for San Antonio Davenport. I think they beat Fisher Canyon Lake. Staying in San Antonio, I like Reagan over Johnson. And how about this District 13 2A Division 2? I like Bremont to bounce back against Granger. I'm going Stratford over Panhandle. Tidehaven beats Wallace Brazos. And remember Carthage? Yeah, they're 7-0. They're 8-0 after they beat Rusk. I like Winsboro over Pottsboro. Brock continues its rebound with a win over Whitesboro. And give me Corpus Christi Cal Allen over Alice. Huge game in Central Texas. I like China Spring to beat Waco La Vega. Give me Cisco to beat unbeaten Stanford. And College Station gets by Leander Glenn. Battle of unbeatens in the DFW Metroplex. I like Duncanville over Mansfield. Give me Early to get by Brady. And I like Edna over Vanderbilt Industrial. I like Forsan over Anthony. Gunner takes down Surprising Howe. And I like Klein Collins over Klein Forest. I think Lancaster keeps rolling with a win over Forney. Give me Liberty Hill over Lockhart. And I like Little Cypress Mauriceville over Livingston. Give me Lubbock Cooper over Abilene. Magnolia West outguns Fulshire. And I like Mason over Johnson City. I like West Rusk over Grand Saline. Give me Pflugerville Weiss over Bryan. And Port Neches Groves beats Dayton. I like PSJ North over McAllen Row in the Rio Grande Valley. I like Richmond Foster over Manville in the Houston area. And I like Alamo Heights over Harlandale in San Antonio. Somerset edges Fredericksburg. I like Temple over Hutto. And way out east, I like Texas High over Marshall. Out east, I like Tyler Chapel Hill in a squeaker over Lindale. And in the Panhandle, I like Vega over Groover and Wellington over Memphis. And those are the picks. What am I wrong about? Which games I leave out? Leave comments down below. Don't forget the subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbells. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbells. And of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Thanks for watching. Enjoy week 8 of the Texas high school football season. We'll see you. Craven Bets here with Mike Craven, our resident financial advisor here. The weekly segment where we tell you what to do with your money, but this is not financial advice. I'm required by our lawyer to tell you that here in Craven's Corner, because on this corner
we make money.
And so last week was a down week for you.
Yep.
And you went 2-2.
Went 2-2. 2-2. Paid the vig,
buddy. If our bad weeks are just minus the vig,
yeah,
we're doing okay.
Yeah, it's been a good year. It's been a good year so far.
We're gonna see if we can.
It's nice to just only concentrate on 12 schools.
Right?
You know, like it makes it, I feel like an insider actually.
Yeah, you don't
like the title that you're given actually fits.
Right. Last year it didn't, you know, because I joined from the soccer beat and I just didn't have the off season to do. I was playing catch up. This year it feels like I have a pretty good grasp on most teams.
You were just the college football guy.
Right, there you go. Yeah.
Upgraded to insider.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some new business cards for you now.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see if we can keep this train moving. What do we got first, Pickle?
Let's go to the American SMU taking on the Water Troops, and you are taking the over at 58.
You are asking. Here's my headline here. You're taking an over in a service academy game.
I am. SMU's defense is not very good, but the reason I'm taking the over is because this is going to be one of those statement games from the SMU offense. They're on a 3-game losing streak. People are starting to jump off the bandwagon. There's been a lot of noise on if Tanner Mordecai is playing well, if Preston Stone's going to play, what they're going to do offensively. I think this is one of those times that SMU plays the hurry-up offense. They do tempo. They score 40, 45 points. And that defense is going to give up 14 to 21, so I think the over hits on this one.
42-21's a winner on that. So you're probably, really in a lot of ways, you're just asking Navy to put together 3 good drives, which feels reasonable against this SMU defense. And then you're asking SMU to do their part, which it is a bad Navy defense.
And I don't think they let off the gas.
Yeah.
If they were on a 3-game winning streak and they're 5-1, maybe they do. But on a 3-game losing streak, needing to kind of right the ship, I think SMU puts it all out there.
There may be some troop disrespect in this game. What's next, Pickle?
Up next, we head to the Big 12. The Texas Longhorns taking on Iowa State. You like the under at 49.5.
Both of these two teams are top 15 in stop rates. You know, we don't talk about the Texas defense that much because it's much more fun to talk about Quinn Ewers in the quarterback position, Bijan Robinson, Xavier Worthy, all that kind of stuff. But the defense is playing really well. Keandre Coburn's been one of the best interior defensive linemen in the state. The linebackers are coming on. Iowa State's not a good football team, but the defense is good. They're a lot like Iowa. They're a lot like their neighbors.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to play good offense. They're going to play good defense. It is ironic that five-star culture is not winning out anymore when their five-star players are now in the NFL. But I think the under hits this week.
Yeah, it's, you know, and then really in a lot of ways this is not necessarily saying that the Texas offense is going to be worse.
No.
But what you're saying is that essentially you're going to have a little bit of facing a better defense. I think Iowa State's defense is better than Oklahoma's.
Yep.
That's fair to say.
Oh yeah.
Shocking.
You know, they're also facing an offense that they're not going to be as wounded as Oklahoma was, but this is still a pretty poor Iowa State offense.
Yeah, Texas scored 31 and this still not hit the over. You
Yeah.
know, I don't have much faith that Iowa State scores more than 14, 17 points. And I don't think Texas is one of those teams that's going to score 50 on somebody if they're up by 25. They'll give it to Bijan, they'll give it to Roshan Johnson, they'll grind out the clock and move on to the next week.
All right, what's next, Pickle?
Up next, let's head to Conference USA. North Texas taking on La Tech. You're setting the under at 70.5, which I know is just super controversial.
We literally, this is 100% true.
I thought it was a typo when I made
We had
the
to
graphic.
verify this. It's now moved down to 69, which is nicer, but that feels way too high for two teams that are only like okay.
Here's that. La Tech's defense isn't very good, and North Texas's defense could be argued isn't all that good either. But when you look at North Texas's statistics, that defensive points per game they're giving up is skewed by the amount of offensive touchdowns North Texas has allowed the other team's defense. I think they've thrown 3 pick sixes. They've had a couple kick returns on them. They've had some special teams blunders that's turned into points. So if the North Texas offense doesn't create points for La Tech, I think this one easily hits under 70.5, and the line's starting to lower and lower and lower, and so it feels like the gamblers are on that one as well.
Yeah, that was a shocking number at 70. I was like, I don't know.
I literally checked like 3 times when I was making the graphic.
Yeah.
It feels like the lock of the week. I know we're trying to do more lock of the week action.
We do.
This feels more like lock of the week just because that number is insane.
Yeah. What's next, Pickle?
To what I think we would all agree is the game of the week here in the Big 12, TCU versus Oklahoma State. You are taking the over at 68.
Pointsy.
These quarterbacks are great. They're really, really good. Both teams are averaging the exact amount of points per game. I find that to be statistically interesting.
And they've both been parts of their respective programs for like 75 years
right.
now.
They have some experience, you know, and Spencer Sanders stopped turning the ball over as much. Max Duggan's been excellent. I don't know if he's turned the ball over yet this year in his games. The running games have been great for both teams. They're kind of a lot similar to each other. We tend to think Oklahoma State is this defensive team. They're giving up points. Baylor had their best passing day of the year so far against this Oklahoma State secondary. I imagine TCU, Quentin Johnston does the exact same thing. This one feels like a 38-35 last team to have the ball type game.
Look at last week against Texas Tech. We like Barron Morton a lot, but that's a third-string quarterback making his first career start, and he was
on the road,
and he was spinning it, against this Oklahoma State defense. So I think you're right. I think the over on 68 is the play.
And I'm not quite there on TCU's defense yet.
Yeah.
I think they're good. I think they're better than they were last year because who wouldn't be? But I don't know if they're stop Spencer Sanders good yet.
Well, and same thing like last week. They were going up for a large stretch of that game. They were going up against a backup quarterback, and they kind of got ripped apart as well.
Yep.
So the over feels like the play here.
Shout out Jason Bean.
There you go. I think, call.
You just got beat.
And I think we got one more.
We sure do. Back to Conference USA. It is the Battle of the Owls. You're taking Rice +4 against FAU.
I'm here to tell you that Rice is decidedly not bad. They are not a bad football team.
I think a thing to remember when looking at these gambling lines is they're not predictions. They're a way to get 50% of the money on both sides. And Rice is still considered a really bad football team, especially on the road. The Rice is good, and I watched FAU against North Texas last week, and they are not.
Yes.
And so I think Rice may win this one outright. I know going to a different time zone can be tough. Sometimes that doesn't travel. But coming off a bye week, that defense has been, I think they've averaged 18.33 points given up per game in their wins, 50 in their losses.
Yeah.
So when they've been playing not USC and not Houston, Rice has been really good. FAU's not close to that level. Given the Owls +4, I think I'd take the Rice at even money.
Yeah, I was going to say this might be my lock of the week. Might be the Tepper topic. We got to get a graphic for that. There it is. Craven Bets, our financial advice segment here on This Week here in Craven's Corner, because on this corner,
we make money.
Let's go to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment, Final Thoughts.
Coming up at 2 o'clock today, it is WTF, Women Talking Football. We are headed out to the Hub City. We're going out west. So wherever you're watching, come join Mallory and I, and we'll party.
The Hub City is Lubbock, if you didn't know that. I feel like I should tell people that.
Nah, we just got experienced watchers on WTF. Who are we kidding here?
I guess, I don't know. I want this to be for everybody. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for
Women Talking Football featuring Greg Tepper.
That's going to do it for us.
He just mansplained.
Thanks for
Amazing.
That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell. So follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell. And of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. For Mike Craven and Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday on Texas Football Today.